everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. As it's now the midpoint of the year and my birthday, just saying, I thought it might be quite, I don't know what that was. I thought it might be quite fun to tell you some of my favourite shows from 2018 so far, because I did a video like this last year. Did I do one the year before? Probably not. But I think I did one last year and that was really fun to do. So I thought it might be quite nice to do that again, recommend some shows to you and yeah, just kind of reflect on the first half of 2018. The first one on my list will be no surprise if you're following me on Twitter. I've been fangirling about this show quite a lot, and that is Six the Musical, which I saw I think in January, I think it was. I saw it at the Arts Theatre. They were doing some really kind of random show times every other Monday or something like that, and it had been selling out really well. They actually added a later show and that's how I managed to see it. So I booked a ticket to see one of the later shows and oh my god, I'm so glad that I did, because if you watch me you'll probably know that I love supporting new work. I think we really need to do more of that, because otherwise we're never going to see new work succeed. But especially when it's so good, you're like, yes, thank you. I just loved it. I was so intrigued by the premise going in, because it's about Henry VIII's 6 wives, hence the title, Six. But it's told in a style of like Hamilton meets Our Ladies of Perpetual Succor. It's just so much fun and really clever with how they do it, and they had an amazing cast of girls doing it as well. They've got a new cast for the shows that are coming up now, but they did a performance at West End Live. I'll link it below so you can check it out, and that was an amazing performance. So I'm really pumped to see the new girls working together on this show, because they just sounded incredible. Over the summer, Six is going to be playing in Norwich, Cambridge, Edinburgh. It's doing the whole of the Fringe, and then it's coming back to the Arts Theatre in London in September, and then I think they're hoping to announce some more locations and dates after that. So do keep an eye on their website, and if you're in, as I say, Cambridge, Norwich, Edinburgh or London, or you can get to any of those locations, please go and see this show, because it is so much fun and I am stupidly excited to see it again. The second show that's definitely made onto my favourites for this year is SpongeBob SquarePants the Musical, which I saw on Broadway, because obviously that's where it's playing at the moment. I must admit, when I first heard that they were making a SpongeBob musical, I was like, oh, what is happening to the industry? Oh my goodness, a SpongeBob musical. And I think one of the main reasons that I loved it was because it completely like blew all of my expectations out of the water. Get it? Out of the water? I'm glad I made myself laugh. It was just so much fun. It was so creatively done. I loved how they like decorated the whole theatre from like the foyer and then into the auditorium. And I loved that I got to see it with my friend Jake as well, because he loves the show, and I think it always helps to go and see a show for the first time with someone who loves it. That always helps. We just had so much fun seeing it, and I really enjoyed the show. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was way better than I was expecting. It was just wildly creative and I loved that. And I'm so glad that it proved me wrong. I think that is an amazing thing, to go into a show and have this like preconceived notion about it and then just be like, honey, no, that's not what we're about. I just loved it. And it was also really interesting that it had some quite serious topic points like slid in there that aren't immediately obvious, but when you think about it, you're like, oh, this show is actually like coming across with quite a lot of messages that you don't really realize when you're just watching it until afterwards, and you're like, oh, okay, wow. So if you're going to New York anytime soon, or if you've got the chance to see it, if you're in the area, like literally don't judge a book by its cover, don't judge a musical by its name. Go and see SpongeBob, it's amazing. The next show on my list I've loved seeing this year is Pippin, which I saw at the Southwark Playhouse. I also saw it at the Hope Mill Theatre in Manchester last year, but definitely with repeat viewings, this show has become like a firm favourite of mine. When I first saw the show, the plot kind of confused me, to be honest, so being able to see it again and be able to understand the plot more. I just fell in love with it, and I thought that cast were just incredible. Like, Genevieve Nicole is the most insane actress. Loved watching her as the leading player. The whole cast were amazing, it was so good. I just loved the production. I thought it was brilliant, and fingers crossed still that we might get a transfer of it at some point. It was just so wonderful. I loved falling in love with it, so that was really nice. The next one on my list is a touring production that I went to see. I've been to see quite a few touring productions this year, which I'm really happy about. It was one of my resolutions to try and see more regional theatre where I can. This show especially, because it closed on Broadway before I got to see it. I was definitely going to see it when it came to the UK. And this was the last ship that I saw at the New Alexandra Theatre in Birmingham. As I mentioned, I wanted to see this show on Broadway back in 2015. I had a trip planned in September, and then the show closed, I think in like June, maybe earlier, I can't remember. So I was really gutted, but then I heard it's gonna come for a UK tour, and I was like, yay, I get to see it. It just really blew me away. The cast were amazing. Like, they had Richard Fleischman and Frances McNamee, and they were just amazing. The visuals of this show I am obsessed with, and I'm really gutted actually that I won't be able to see it again, because the tour closes soon. Will it be closed by the time this video is up? I think the tour will close literally like the week this video goes up, and it's like all northern venues now, which obviously I can't complain about, but I'm just sad that I won't be able to see it again, because I loved it. I thought the projections paired with the set design, with a really touching and like human story. I know it sounds dumb, but very human. I just loved it, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to see it finally. Hopefully it has a future life. There are going to be lots of empty theatres in London soon, so if anything wants to fill them, I'd be very happy for The Last Ship to fill one of them. That'd be great. And finally, for my last favourite show of 2018 so far, it has to be Heathers. Heathers at the Other Palace is just wild. It's amazing. I saw the workshop of Heathers at the Other Palace's studio last year. Sean and I went to see the workshop. We loved that. That was so much fun, and it was really fascinating as well to see the workshop and to see like how a workshop works, especially because it was also a public one, so the tickets sold out so quickly for that, and they've done the same for this run of Heathers in the main space as well. But we managed to see the dress rehearsal. I won a competition to see the dress rehearsal, and then we saw the first preview, and I've already seen it like once again since then. So yeah, I think it's so much fun. The cast are incredible. Like, there is not a weak link in that cast. They're amazing, and there's just, oh god, it's just so much fun. And again, it's got some very serious topics in that, but I feel like they deal with it fairly well. Not for the whole of the topics, but for the most part they do. I think for me, mainly with Heathers, it's not so much like the story, but it's like the music and the oh my god, there are so many like catchy songs in this show. It's amazing, and the way that the cast delivers them, just incredible. How many times I've said that in this video? Like, just incredible. I'm obsessed. I love it. But it's true, I wouldn't tell you about them if I wasn't obsessed. And I would say get tickets to see Heathers, but you can't because it's sold out. So let's just pester the team for a transfer, shall we? Cool, let's do that. Same with The Last Ship, same with Pippin, same with everything. I want everything in this video to be like fully in the West End. Though I have said actually I think that SpongeBob would do well with like a big sort of international, not arena sized tour, but you know, like a big beastie venues for like month-long, 2-month-long runs over Europe and such. I think that would work best for it. But anyway, that's just my prediction for the future. So those are, that's a weird tangent. So those are 5 shows that I've really loved seeing in 2018 so far. I feel incredibly lucky because I've almost seen, including concerts and things like musical theatre concerts, just under 80 shows already this year, which is mind-blowing. That's already more shows than I saw throughout the entire of 2017, so how is my bank account coping? Oh wait, it's not. But anyway, yes, those are my 5 favourite shows of this year so far. I would love to know what you've been to see this year that has really stood out for you. If you want to list 5, you want to list 10, just want to list 1, you do you. You do what you want to do. I would just love to know, and I'd love to know if any of them are the same as the ones on my list as well. That'd be really fun to know. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of me in the future. There's always a lot of theatre content, so if you enjoy theatre, theatre, you might want to stick around. I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!